Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Now this, I've decided to make a quick tour. It's a lovely day, as you can see. Now it's not completely finished because, well, it's partly converted, but it is mostly there, like bits of trimmer on there. I just haven't got a few more expensive bits, like the window in this door, for example. Eventually, there's going to be a window in there, but currently there isn't. I can't wait to get a window in there. Sometimes I wish just be able to look out, but I can't. So this van is a 2008 Citroen Relay 2.2 litre, and yeah, they're 3.3 tons, and when you see the amount of pallet wood in here, you can see why I'm slightly concerned about the weight. But let's fingers crossed and hope that it's underweight. So as you can see here, there is a lovely piece of plywood, believe it or not, that I just found that looked like this. So I give it a nice varnish using some heavy duty exterior varnish, because here is the diesel filler cap. Now you just push this back a bit and then you can open it and fill it up easily. And the reason I varnished this in like a really heavy duty varnish is so if any spills you can give it a wipe and then it won't smell your van because it won't soak into the wood. So I'm going to start with the cab, which also is not finished. The passenger window, right here for example, it doesn't work. And I mean, I know the ignition's not on, but even when the ignition's on, it doesn't work. I think it needs a new motor, because apparently, because they're the passenger sides, they don't get used as much, they seize up, and then when you try and use them, they can kind of overload and break. But anyway, need to replace that. And if you take a look in here, you can see I've got two stereos. Now I've just taken this one out because I wanted to hear what the speakers sounded like, and I just had the radio. So now I'll put this one in. I can put my stereo in, my phone in, and listen to some music, which is good. But I will be putting in a double din here with a reversing camera going all the way to the back, and I'll be replacing the brake light at the back with the reversing camera brake light for these vans. Another thing I've done is add a little switch here, as you can just about see. Excuse the geese in the background, they're a bit crazy around here. And this basically switches on and off the B2B because it's not a smart one. It's a Victron Orion TR, but it's not the smart version. Here I've taken out the 12 volt socket because I plan to just put some USBs in there, because who uses a 12 volt socket anymore? There is still this one. I've taken out the cigarette specifically 12 volt socket. And take a look down here. This is now a single seat. This was my double seat, but I cut it in half. If you'd like to see that video, you can go check it out here. And all the other van conversion videos, you can also go check out in the playlist up here, so you can see how I converted this van. What I did is I cut this seat in half, and the structure sticks out slightly more where the seat is, because they shuffle the seats over towards the door when they put the double seat in. So I've had to make this little table, but it's nice. You can put your phone, a drink, or anything. It's got a little lip so it won't slide off. And yeah, really pleased with that. And number one reason for doing that was so I could put this door in and you could go to the back. Now the reason I've done a door and not no bulkhead or a curtain is insulation and security and all that stuff. Now I know for a camper you necessarily don't need this, so in my next van conversion to sell I probably won't, but in my personal van, in a couple of vans to come, I will be definitely putting in a full bulkhead because it's so much more insulated and so much more secure. Other than that, I've just got a few hooks. Eventually this will be carpeted because no one likes chipboard, and these bits of trim will probably be painted black. Come on through. So as you walk through here, you can see you've got a little key hook, which is in the shape of a key. Quite nice. Managed to find some screws in my random screw box that match the exact kind of colour of it. Perfect. And as you'll see, this odd little device here, this is a dimmer switch, and it goes up and down with the lights in the ceiling. But you can see over here, you dim and they get brighter. I mean, it's a very sunny, bright day, so you probably can't see very much difference, but they do work, and they're great. I love these switches. Overhead cab storage, bit of a mouthful. Put little lights in there which are door sensitive, so as you open the door, light turns on. Really nice. Catches, keep the doors nice and sturdy. And then this one as well, in there. And it just has vapor barrier in there, but you're never going to see there. And it is a bit of a faff to get to, if I'm honest. But you'd most likely store maybe bedding or maybe coats or something that you, not lots of small things, so it's not too much of a deal. And as you can see here, I've got some rope which just tidies up that edge along there because all the different pallet wood, because as you can see, the lovely pallet wood ceiling. This is a Fiamma roof vent, and it's the crystal clear one. Now I'd love to be filming this with another person because it makes life so much easier, but anyway. This one door is made out of pallet wood as well. It's made out of the extra high pallet woods, so they're about 1.5 to 2 meters long, something like that. But they do the whole door upright because I've kind of stuck with doing pallet wood upright. And this tongue and groove lengthways, this tongue and groove has a linseed oil finish on it. You'll see there's another switch here which does under cabinet lighting for the kitchen, which works amazingly. Now if you take a look over here, there is a tap. Now this is a copper tap I made myself, which has a ball valve on it, and if I just take this sink cutout out, as you can see I did a little 45-degree on the side so you can stick fingers in and take it out rather than a hole, just my preference. And then you can fit that, the water comes out, and then you get a little dribble, but it stops, and then all works amazingly. So before we move on to the lower cabinets, I'm just going to show you what's in these ones. Now this one is a rack that you can put your plates in or cups. I'm probably going to make some hooks up here so you can hang some cups, and then that will just mean that then it's plates and bowls and cups and then whatever else on this little flat bit here which isn't above the sink, and basically all of the water just drips into the sink really nicely. In this one over here you can see that it's just a general storage cupboard, kind of designed for like teas, spreads, bread, you know, the breakfasty stuff, and maybe coffee and whatever you like. And then again finished with pallet wood underneath. So these tiles here, as you can see going all the way around, they go a little bit higher here because the cooker's quite close to this wall, but this wall divides it from the bed area. And these were big tiles that I cut into quarters and then grouted with black grout, and it worked really well. And it was just some tiles we had lying around, cut them into quarters, made them smaller, so then they'd go along here, and then all of that wall as well. Some rope down here. I have yet to put in a little spice shelf here. So the windows I've chosen in most areas is portholes. Now I like the idea of cooking or washing up and seeing out the view, but I don't like the idea of having a massive window that you don't have any room for shelves or a mirror or hanging things, whatever you want. So I went for portholes, and they're really good as well because they're slightly tinted when you buy them, and I made a little modification to them so that I could have the recess of the window on the inside, because I think it looks a bit weird on the outside if I'm honest, and they look a bit backwards. And then we've gone for a little bit of copper along here because my walls are very thick that I've had to recess the portholes in a bit, and this gives you this nice little shelf, and it also lets the light come in a bit more. So yeah, I've got two of them, and then down here I have a scaffold board worktop which I stuck two scaffold boards together. It's quite a narrow countertop, but I wanted a big floor space in the van, and then I pocket hold them together, give it a sand and a stain, and now you get this really nice dark countertop that cost me about a tenner. Coming over here to the cooker. Now this is an LP, which is Leisure Products stove, which is the same which make the Voyager, but this is called the Atlantic, and as you can see it's kind of brown, and I got it second hand off eBay, so I reckon it's an older version that they put in a caravan, but it works fine. It was untested, but I got it for about 30 quid, and yeah, it's great. So moving back over to here, you can see that I've got, well, to do with the bulkhead door, I have a lockable for the security handle, so then you can't get in, and the other side has a key obviously, and then here there's some towel or cloth or whatever on some S-hooks on a bit of copper. Looks really nice. And then in this cupboard here is a bin on the door. Now this, so many people overlook a bin and it just doesn't come to them when they're planning a van. Now I know from being in two campers and building them for both my parents, you need a bin, otherwise you just got a bag hanging somewhere. And I thought a really nice way of doing it, because these water butts have quite a big space in front of them, is to put the bin on the door, and it works really well. You can fit like a standard small bin bag in there, and you can pretty much fill one of them, and it's literally really low profile on the door. Here is my fresh water connected with a hose connector, and then at the back I have a sea flow pump, and this is the wastewater, and it basically goes through a U-bend and in to the wastewater butt, which then has a tap at the bottom, so you can easily empty it without moving it out at all. And you just flick it on or off, depending on whether you're at the campsite or not, at the dumping station. And then in the bottom I put a piece of lino and sealed it all the way around the edge, so if there's any leaks it won't rot the wood. So then here I've got some drawers. I've got two small ones for like cutlery, and then I've sort of designed this for like your random stuff. So I've just got like little notebooks and all the instruction stuff and fuses that the van, that the owner will want to keep next time. And then in this one, whatever, it's just a big deep drawer. And then in this one, it's currently my working stuff, varnishes and paints and stuff. Coming over here though, there's a drop down door, and I made it look very similar to the cupboard, as you can see. And I thought maybe putting the handle at the top, but then I decided I won't. And then it drops down, again has a light inside the cupboard using these little mortise switches, and then again some lino in the bottom, and this one is more designed for pans and stuff, etc. And yeah, all just that sort of stuff that you'd keep under maybe oven trays under the oven. Now moving to over here, you can see there's some little sockets. Now eventually this voltmeter is going to be swapped out for a 12 volt socket, so I'm going to have two 12 volt sockets and a pair of USBs as there is now. And then here there's going to be two 240 volt sockets running off the inverter, which we'll get to later. And here I reckon I'm going to put a little drawer for all your electronic bits, your cables, your laptop charger, all that stuff, just so it's not lying around or at the back of a cupboard where you really need it. Just have a little electronics drawer that will just go into the back and be out the way. Oh, and one thing I almost forgot to mention was the diesel heater outlet is here, and we'll get to the diesel heater a bit later, but this is just the 2 to 5 kilowatt diesel heater. Now moving on to this bit's very unfinished. Now I've made this cushion, it's stapled to a bit of MDF, which you can't see really, but I may end up buying some memory foam before I sell it, or I may just sell it like this, I'm not sure. And then here I've got a little speaker and stuff, and as you can see this area is very unfinished. The plan is to here have a slide out toilet, compostable, because I'm against the chemicals and dumping things and stuff. You might as well just have compostable, because then you can put it in a bin, or you can bury it in the ground if you have a compostable bag that it goes in, which is what I'll probably recommend. And then in this one I'm planning to put my washing. So, because again, another thing that probably gets overrated quite a lot is the fact that you don't have anywhere to put your dirty laundry. So that's where this is going to be, and then when you get to a campsite or wherever you're going, you can wash your stuff. Here, as you can see, there's the diesel tank for the diesel heater, and I'm going to put a little light at the bottom with a little switch, so then and then a little slot, and all this is going to be pallet wood as well, and then you'll be able to flick it on and you'll be able to see. Now you will have probably noticed the weird yellow thing behind me, and that is where a fridge is probably going to go, but I may actually not put a fridge in the end, because I may sell this van sooner than I thought, and if it's a camper van you may not need a fridge. So this may not be a fridge by the end, but if not, it will just be a door. So over here is a lovely big slide out table. It slides out 80 centimeters, and it's got this nice pallet with front again, so it just kind of looks like a drawer, and then you pull it out and it's a table. Over here, as you can see, is a little door. Now the idea behind this little door is to switch on and off the inverter, which you can do really easily, and also change a fuse if it happens to go, because the last thing you want to do if it's like raining or really cold is go outside, open the back door, try and faff about trying to find the fuse box and put it in and find which one it was. You can just simply do it from this little hatch. And down here I have a laminate flooring, which I believe is Oak Effect, but I got given it by a neighbour, so I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it's Oak Effect. So over here I have put Hessian to cover up the metal, and the reason I did that is because it looks really nice up against all the pallet wood and everything, and I'm just really not a fan of the carpet. I'm okay with putting it in the cab because it's not the living space, but in here I just thought the Hessian is a bit more welcoming and nice, and then again the rope going down just to cover that edge where the edge of the tongue groove meets the Hessian. Eventually the plan is to have a bit of plywood or pallet wood with a temperature meter and a battery monitor on it, and that just means that you can easily monitor your battery just from here. That's why I'm getting rid of that voltmeter, because it's so incorrect, and I'm going to go with a proper shunt, which will give you the percentage of the actual battery. So now taking a look back here, as you can see, there is just a standard full double, and it's on a 15cm mattress, so it's really comfy. And at the back there is 2 little scaffold board shelves, because when I did the scaffold boards I thought it was a bit of a shame to not include the banding on the edge. So I decided to make them into little bedside table shelves, and they will eventually have some copper going around the corner just so you don't have to take everything off the shelf before you drive. Over there, which you can't really see because I've blended it in really nicely, and under this cabinet, as you can see, there is some LEDs, and if I turn them on, you may be able to see them, but you may not because it's very bright, as I said. There's some LEDs when they turn on. I will be putting B-roll over, so you'll see it in the B-roll. So again, as you can see over here, there is another porthole with more copper over the front. I don't know why, but you never know, you might want to put something there. So far I haven't thought of anything I'd want to put there, but you never know. So then, as you can see, there's other scaffold shelf now, and yeah, I just really like them. They're really sturdy as well because I pocket hold them and then filled the pocket holes so then you can't see them. Here is the diesel heater, and at night the LCD gets really annoying, which is one thing I regret about mounting it this way, but the good thing is you can access it from the living space, as I'm doing now. You do have to burn your head around a bit, but then you can also access it from in bed. So I installed the switch which just turns the display off, makes it really easy. And here is the main lighting. Now there's 3 ceiling lights, 2 of them are in the main area, powered by the one next to the door, and this one controls the one above the bed. And then this one here is a coloured panel. Now if you press this, it does the LED side strips, as you can actually see in the video now, because it's a little bit darker in this corner. And also the back pillars also have Hessian on them just to get rid of the metal, and then also rope down the side as well. But yeah, so now let's take a look under the bed. So now, as you can see, here is the back door. Now this is the one with the number plate in. So I got a cool tip from Tabitha and Liam, and at the time my bulbs weren't working for my number plate. Now I wanted to not obviously cover them up forever, so basically just don't fix a piece of tongue and groove, and then you can slide it out and it works really well. So here I have all my tools and everything, and under there, which I'll show you in a second, is my diesel heater. And over here is all the electrics, and then the idea of the storage containers is that you can stack up some storage containers, and that way you can easily access things and nothing gets stuck at the back, because there will also be a fridge there. Now under there, as you can see, that is a box which houses the diesel heater. A bit hard to show, but yeah, so that's just so you are able to put stuff on. When I sell it, I'm probably going to take off the shelf, so then therefore this diesel heater will be very easy to access. Also here is the second diesel heater outlet, because I felt that I didn't want the batteries to get really cold that are over there, and also if it's just like cold and not really very warm, things are likely to get damp. Your mattress could get damp, so it's just good. What I've done is I've squashed the ducting a bit. Now that's not going to harm the heater because there is another vent, as I showed you, but it limits the air coming through to here, because obviously it's like a fifth of the size back here, so really not much air. It's just to take the edge off back here. Now over to the electrics, which I absolutely love. So over there's a 600 watt inverter that I got given. It peaks at 1500. Kind of hard to believe, seeing as I plugged in a 700 watt thing and it failed. So yeah, but anyway, it is 600 watts to say the least anyway. And then there's the fuse box, which, like I say, they're both really close. The reason they're over there is so you can access them from the hatch. And then over here is a nice isolator switch which isolates all of the outgoings. And then there's 2 bus bars, one for positive, one for negative, and it all goes along here. And I know it looks a bit messy at the moment, but if I put up a picture of on my Instagram what it did look like, this is just because I've added the inverter and I wasn't sure whether I was going to keep it, where now I am, so I'll wire that all in properly. Here is the Orion TR 18 amp, and this charges the laser batteries from the starter battery. And then here is a temporary charge controller, which eventually there will be a Tracer EPEVA MPPT charge controller. And down here there are 2 115 amp hour AGM batteries, and these are super deep cycle, so they do like 750 cycles at 50%, and so far I haven't even got them below like 80%, so we're all good there. And then Here is where the shunt will be. Now this is a cheap shunt, it doesn't actually measure the percentage, but it's a good idea of seeing everything that's going in and out of my batteries. And over here is an isolated switch for everything going in and out the batteries, so then the batteries are totally on their own. One last little touch which I really like is switch for some lights back here, because if you come here in the dark and you're trying to put your stuff in from the day, your beach stuff, your holiday stuff, whatever you might be adding, or you're trying to take it out early in the morning, who knows, it's just really useful. This light is so bright as well. There is a few exterior features like this tyre, but the outside of the van, as you can see, that's a small minor bit of peeling, or all the way down here, as you can see, the exterior is terrible, so I will do a full tour interior and exterior when I've painted the outside of the van, and it's pretty much finished, probably just before I sell it basically. So yeah, that's been the tour of my van. Now if you did like it, please sure to give it a big thumbs up and drop a comment down below, share it with your friends, I really appreciate that. And if you're not subscribed, why not? Because then you get to see the next van conversion and my adventures with next vans onwards. So yeah, and also I've got to finish this van first, so you'll also be seeing the end of this van. So yeah, make sure you hit that like button, drop a comment down below, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and share it with your friends. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.